for another look at the forecast. So today was hot, but it's only going to get hotter from here.
We are just getting started.
Can't wait.
Yeah, we're not in the warning criteria just yet. So far, high of 28. We have to hit 29 in Calgary for a daytime high and have those overnight lows are at least 14. And then we get into that. So that's tomorrow. And I would say tamer tomorrow, but then it will really heat up after that. Here's your Capital Chef sky cam. You can see some blue. You can see some light, thin clouds way up there, high up in the atmosphere. Wind right now around 30, 40 kilometers per hour at times, which is helping because when you have hot temperatures, it's nice to have a little relief from a nice breeze out there. 28 again is the high in Calgary. We'll get into that warning criteria for tomorrow, which is a high of 29, and then we will get even hotter than that, and I'll show you that in the long range in just a moment. Right now though in Golden, 33, 34 in Cranbrook, 30 in Jasper, and 27 Medicine Hat. So Brooks and Medicine Hat area, they're in the hotter area right now. Even Lethbridge and Milk River at 29. So hotter here, and it will just start to skyrocket as we go forward. All right, here's the excessive heat warning in place, and that goes from Claresholm up through Calgary, up the QE2 to Edmonton, and then all of northern Alberta. Rocky Mountain House, Banff, and Canmore are not under this warning, and neither is Lethbridge and Raymond right now. However, it will still be very hot in these areas. We're going to drop enough in the overnight hours that these communities here and here will be able to get some relief from the heat in those overnight hours. We might see that change. We might see more warnings issued as we go here. Here's that ridge of high pressure that is in place, and this is actually redirecting any of the moisture that's happening out there up and around us. So I'll show you that on the radar, and you can see we have all this moisture, and it's really being directed up and around, so we're dry in the south, and we will continue to be, except for later in the day tomorrow. We do have the potential of thunderstorms. We will have some moisture, and we will certainly have the heat. So some of these thunderstorms could reach the more severe criteria, so gusts over 90 kilometers per hour, and also looking at that larger size hail and the bigger downpours. So as we go forward here, I just want to show you this evening, there may be some development in the foothills for some showers, but not enough right now because it's so stable for any of that to really materialize into much. As we go forward, though, I'll show you in the morning tomorrow. Morning tomorrow looking nice and sunny. By the afternoon, though, in the foothills, we'll see these thunderstorms and showers, pockets develop, and because we'll have the moisture and the heat, some of these could actually be intensified and more severe. So Calgary, we could see a thunderstorm. We could also see a severe thunderstorm. So heads up on that. Keep your eye on the sky. Looking at the Capital Chef 5-day forecast, 29 for tomorrow, and then you can see temperatures creep up. So we'll be in the 30s for daytime highs. Smaller risk of a thunderstorm for Wednesday and Thursday. Friday, less of a chance, and then we're looking at sunshine, a lot of sunshine and a lot of heat for these next few days. In fact, 8 to 9 days stretch of temperatures from 29 to 34 degrees. This is that Capital Chef 10-day trend here, and you can see from tomorrow up until Wednesday, we will remain at least in that warning criteria for excessive heat.
So, Danielle, a very challenging situation for a lot of people, and this is a long-term trend, this kind of weather.
Very long-term, yes. We're looking at about 8 days straight with daytime highs in Calgary being in the 30s and the overnight lows being in the mid-teens, so no real relief from the heat even at nighttime. You can see Calgary is now under the excessive heat warning, so it really extends from Claresholm up through Calgary, up the QE2 to Edmonton, all of northern Alberta, and it extends east into Coronation, Cereal, Hanna, Oyen. You can also see that it's not in the Rocky Mountain House, Banff, and Canmore area, and it's not here just yet anyway. And that's because these areas won't drop, or they will be dropping low in those overnight hours, low enough that there will be some relief from that heat. 28 degrees is the temperature right now, a nice breeze at 40 kilometers per hour. And tomorrow, lots of sunshine and a high of 29 with the risk of a thunderstorm later in the day. It could even be severe. We'll talk about that coming up, Ian.
This is CTV News Calgary.
Danielle, time for us to be prepared. We've got a fair amount of heat coming for a fair amount of days, too.
Yeah, we are just getting started here. So today, so far anyway, haven't quite met the criteria with a high of 28, now sitting at 27. 29 is the criteria in Calgary for a daytime high or higher. So we're going to talk about all of this and what this means, because this is about an 8 to 9, potentially 10-day stretch that we will be under this excessive heat warning in Calgary and many other communities. All right, right now 30 in Brooks, 29 in Medicine Medicine Hat into the 30s, Cranbrook, Golden, up through Jasper and Grand Prairie. So it's already kicking in to some places. Here's where we have the excessive heat warning. It really extends from Medicine Hat over through Brooks into Claresholm and then up Highway 2, up the Kiwi 2. There are some communities, though, that are not under this, and it's not because their daytime highs won't be hot. For example, Rocky Mountain House in through Banff, Canmore. These areas not under the excessive heat warning, and neither is Pincher Creek through Lethbridge and areas south of Medicine Hat. It's because they're not meeting the criteria of the overnight low to be put in this. It will still be very hot in these areas, but as you can see, the overnight low has to be at least 14 degrees, so 14 or higher. And for areas from Pincher Creek to Lethbridge to Medicine Hat, that overnight low has to be at least 16, so 16 degrees or exceed that. And then a daytime high of 32 for extreme south, and a daytime high of 29 for Calgary and pretty much all of Alberta. Now, we are under this ridge of high pressure here, and that's going to allow this heat to continue to build. So we will get into the 30s pretty quick here, and we're going to hold on to that for quite a while. And I'll show you a little more in the longer range forecast in just a second. Right now, that ridge is redirecting any moisture, clouds, all of that stuff up and around us. You can see the thunderstorms to the east of the QE2. That will be likely to happen on and off through the next 6 hours or so. And even to the west of Calgary and to the west of the QE2, there will be little pockets of showers and non-severe thunderstorms bubble up. Tomorrow morning, kicking it off with lots of sunshine. Later in the day, though, that's when we'll see that development in the foothills, and this could really explode and intensify quite quickly. So by 4 in the afternoon, along QE2 and Highway 2, some of these cells could reach the severe criteria really quick. So gusts over 90 kilometers per hour, that larger size hail, and even bigger downpours. We do have that potential with some of these cells. We still have that potential as well, even in Calgary, because we have the heat, we'll have the moisture, and a few other ingredients in place. So keep your eyes on the sky later in the day tomorrow and take those storms seriously. 29 degrees puts us in the criteria for the excessive heat tomorrow, and we will hold on to hot weather. 30 degrees for Wednesday and staying in the 30s until basically the middle of next week. That's your Capital Chev 5-day forecast. Oh, here's your beautiful Capital Chev Skywatch camera. Enjoy the day. It's nice out. Yes, it's warm. Sure, but we are getting a breeze, winds around 40 kilometers per hour, which is helping that situation. It feels reasonable. However, we're going to get really hot. We will continue to climb temperature-wise, and at this point, Calgary and many communities in Alberta under the excessive heat warning. So really from when you look at to talk about the area, Claresholm, Champion, up through Calgary, up the QE2 to Edmonton, and then over to the east, and certainly all of northern Alberta is under this excessive heat warning. The areas that are not under the warning right now, Rocky Mountain House, Banff, Canmore, and then areas in the extreme south, is because we're not quite meeting the criteria, whether it be daytime highs, it will still be very hot, or overnight lows, maybe some relief from the heat in some cases, dropping below those mid-teens in the overnight hours. Whereas us in Calgary, it's going to be hot day, hot at night as well. Here's that ridge of high pressure that has built its way in. We will see a little bit of activity out there tomorrow as this starts to intensify. So then we're looking at a big stretch of dry weather, but until we get there for tomorrow, there will be that instability and we could see some thunderstorms. In fact, even right now, you can see that ridge of high pressure that is really drawing all the clouds and all that activity up and around us for right now. But because it's kind of shifting, we do have the potential of some really some development of thunderstorms, showers in the foothills that could track into Calgary or at least along the QE2, but this should be weak in nature. Tomorrow, though, we could see more severe storms. Not for the southern interior BC, just hot and sunny and dry. Edmonton looking at 30 degrees with some cloud cover, but Rocky Mountain House down through the QE2, Red Deer and south, and all along the foothills, we have the potential of thunderstorm development later in the day for tomorrow. So keep that in mind. Temperatures in the 30s for Lethbridge and Medicine Hat. Capital Chev 10-day trend. We will be in this excessive heat for at least 10 days, with 8 of those days with daytime highs in the 30s, as you can see here. So we start Wednesday into the 30s, and that will kick through the Wednesday of next week.